On today's show, Tesla's battery day, the VW ID4, and well, a little bit more. G'day everyone, my name's Chris and this is your show about everything happening in the space of renewable technologies like electric vehicles, batteries, storage, wind, you name it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, it does help the channel. If you want to go to the next level, join these awesome individuals over here on Patreon where you get early access, polls, news, stuff you just don't get here, including Discord access. Alright, now before I get into the news, just a little apology and correction to last week's story I brought you on the Tesla Model Y that was spotted in Australia. And well, I actually thought it was actually the Model Y, but it turns out it was actually a Model 3 with like different rims and a chrome delete. So apologies, I'm only human, and yeah, look, Tesla, Elon, if you could get the Model Y out here sooner than later, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Alright, let's get in the news. Okay, now, not to get you too excited, but Volkswagen's first true worldwide EV is the ID4. But for Australia, who knows? Who knows? Unveiled last week via an online event, built on the same MEB platform shared by the ID3, which, well, won't be coming to Australia supposedly, who knows about that one as well, is powered by a rear motor capable of 150 kilowatts and a 0 to 100 km per hour in 8.5 seconds. Not fast, I know, but that from a 309 Newton meter electric motor with a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, capable of doing 520 kilometers on one charge if you're careful. So I'm going to say, like, realistically, about 450 kilometers on one charge. We'll have to see what the EPA testing does because, well, you know, WLTP, EPA, I've done a video on that one. Capable of accepting a 120 kilowatt DC fast charge, or for times when you're at home via its onboard 11 kilowatt charger, you can deliver like 53 kilometers of range in just 1 hour. Whilst the two models are being offered to some markets, there's going to be a dual motor all-wheel drive variant is set to join the range in the new year and will bump up power to 225 kilowatts and therefore like a faster 0 to hero time very soon. For drivers, there's a 5.3 pinnacle and a 10-inch main screen. This screen, mind you, can actually be upgraded to like a 12-inch unit. It's packed with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the interior looks mighty nice, especially those LED highlights. Very cool indeed. The luggage compartment with volume of 543 to 1575 litres depending on whether or not the backrest positions up or down. The reviews I've seen so far are very much glowing on this car, and most say that it handles really well, fit and finish is excellent, and that the overall ambience of the car is well polished. Car Advice, that's like an Australian website for those playing along at home, they got like a wishy-washy statement from VW's Paul Pottinger. He's like the head of communications of VW in Australia, and he said that, well, the ID4 would be an ideal introduction for EVs in this fair land. And you know, VW, it definitely would be, so hurry up already. Does it frustrate you when a car company produces a prototype with absolutely no intention of making a reality? Well, with that in mind, I want to share my itch that I can't scratch and show you a Hyundai RM20e prototype racing car.
But that's what we do.
This little pocket rocket sounds awesome. Able to go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 3 seconds, or an impressive 0 to 200 km per hour in just 9.88 seconds. The prototype racer uses 4 electric motors and has a combined power rating of 596 kilowatts and 960 newton meters of torque. The prototype was done to help Hyundai learn about performance in its N-Line series of cars. That's like the equivalent of Mercedes AMGs or maybe like BMW M series. Yeah, that's the sort of thing. So the car has like a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack on a 605 volt architecture. So what do you think? should Hyundai actually release this car into its Ioniq range. That's this new brand that they're going to be using for electric vehicles moving forward. So to me, yeah, the RN20N kind of rolls off the tongue, kind of. Mini Australia has introduced a 4-year deal which can see owners enjoy the Cooper SE electric hatch for just $98 a week. Yeah, $98 a week. Too good to be true? Well, how does include servicing, roadside assistance, and like a wall box charger, plus either having access to a Countryman plug-in hybrid or JCW or Cooper S for the weekend when distance might be too great for this little EV that can. The almost $60,000 Mini Cooper SE, launched in Australia in July, offers up to 233 kilometres of driving range on the WLTP cycle. So what's the catch with this $98 per week thing? Well, the Mini Dynamic Mobility Package is, like from my take, basically a lease deal, which sees the first 2 years of payments of $275 per week, yeah, and then drops to $98 per week for the next 2 years. So basically, you've got a 4-year period where owners can have the option of either paying out their car balance or trading up. For more information, please do look down at the link below. Quick update on EV incentives in Australia. And well, almost 900 awesome individuals have signed my petition urging the Australian government to offer incentives to purchase electric vehicles. Now, have you signed it? If so, nice one. Thank you very much. And well, this is the important bit that I really need to take this on to the next journey. Have you talked about it with friends, family, and maybe, just maybe, your local politician? You see, in Australia, EVs are like basically transparent to most people. They either think of them as maybe just hybrids, or that they're maybe from the early 2000s where they had very poor batteries and were very slow. Rather, electric vehicles now, they're actually part of our solution to decarbonise our environment. They can reduce tailpipe emissions, improve air quality, and will help meet our Paris Climate Agreement. With most EVs in Australia costing more than twice your typical Australian car, many Australians out there don't know the benefits of owning an EV and will perhaps deterred by its high buy-in price. And so the way in which we can get more people into cleaner, greener cars, like many other countries of the world, is to provide buyers with like incentives. And that could be things like zero sales tax, no stamp duty, no plate fees, maybe personal income tax deductions that could subsidize or help with some purchase subsidies or rates and rebates and things like that. What else? Waive rego fees, provide free charging or access to like high occupancy bus lanes. So if we have a government like there are many in this world that are spending taxpayer dollars on getting green things happening in their space. And, you know, look, governments don't need to actually spend any money they don't want to. They could do like these almost 24 countries now that have introduced ICE car bans. Yeah, basically the same. Well, if you want to buy a new car in this country from 2030 or 2035, it's going to be electric. And that doesn't cost the government no money whatsoever. And then who answers that call? Business answers the call. People who buy cars answer the call. We will then go buy an EV. Okay, so if you're a politician and you're watching this show, please get on board. Let's do something about this. Our CO2 contribution from cars is more than 20%, and we can actually halve that easily by converting just 25% of our fleet to electric. But nah, let's not do 25%. Let's go 100. All right, time for some upcoming events. And well, this Tuesday, the 29th of September, the Smart Energy Council is holding its global 2020 online event, featuring like a list of speakers from around the world. Not only will you get to hear from experts in the field of like renewable energy and energy specialists, but also hear European perspectives on the economic and climate crisis and well, what they're doing to address it. And for those who either can't sleep or like waking up crazy early, Thursday, the 1st of October at 4 a.m., Google is holding its launch night in, or what I'm going to call everything leaked so far that we've learned about Google and its products in the last 2 months, and we'll finally confirm. That last one doesn't roll off the tongue so well, but you know what I mean. So yeah, like Google isn't very good at keeping the whole thing very secret, and well, Apple's one more thing. So I hope that what we can see in this is the actual details of the Pixel 5, the new Nest smart speaker, and well, the Chromecast successor, now with the included remote control. I'll be watching it, and yeah, it'd be great to see some great products from them. Last week I brought you my predictions of Tesla's battery day, and well, whilst I was really off on some, I was actually pretty right on others. I tried, but before I get into this nitty gritty of this little thing, let me just say this. What Tesla is doing here is, well, massive. Whilst I want to keep my reporting of this short and well to the point, know that every step in like the cell production has been thought out, from like the mining, transport, creating, distribution. It's all the little improvements and things around the edges that will have this synergistic effect. You know, it's like a little or like a big improvement here or another one there. They culminate into like a product that requires less materials, less space, and more less energy to make. And I can't say this strongly enough. What they've done and what they've announced here is actually huge. So let's unpack this event from the factory production, cell design and materials, and how they'll integrate it into cars. First, I predicted that Tesla would start making its own batteries. And boy, will Tesla start making their own batteries. God, turns out that the Roadrunner project in Fremont is like more than just a tabletop lab test place. No, they're actually doing a small scale. I'll do that again. Small scale battery cell manufacturing. And well, they're not doing small scale. No. In terms of kilowatt hours of energy production per year, they're actually the 17th largest battery maker in the world right now. So, gosh, Tesla, well done on that very, very quiet achievement. One of my predictions, which turns out to be true, is that Tesla would keep its current battery cell partners, like that's LG Chem, Panasonic, and well, Cattle, but Tesla is going to go into battery cell production itself. And well, they're going to actually surpass all the contributions of these makers with their contributions to date. That is huge. And well, they're moving the word of gigawatt hours of energy, and well, it's going to become terawatt hours. Yeah. To quote Elon, tera is the new giga. For context, this is what 1 watt looks like. Now, round that up by 1,000 to 1 kilowatt, and you get your typical toaster. Keep going by yet another gram, and you're at 1 megawatt. And it's like 1,000 houses. Let's keep going. Now you got a 1 gigawatt. And you're talking about 1 million homes. And then finally, multiply that by 1,000 to arrive at 1 terawatt. This screen grab from the presentation puts it into context. The top line is its current cell production. That's 0.1 terawatt hours, or just 100 gigawatt hours. That is still like a massive amount of energy for transport and well, electricity to the grid. And so to become 100% electric for both, transport as well as electricity grid stuff, they're going to have to grow by an order of magnitude. Again, one of Elon's favorite expressions. So Tesla looked at this and said, well, hey, if we don't change battery cell production or just keep the chemistry as it is, we'll actually need 135 giganavatas. Yeah, 135. It's going to take trillions of dollars of money, lots and lots of space, millions of staff to do so. And well, is it possible? No. So what does Tesla do? They redesign the whole battery, don't they? How they'll achieve this is by creating like a continuous factory system that does away with tabs in its batteries, keeps production lines running 24/7 like a bottling and newspaper printing company method. And they'll also change how the cells are made and what elements go into them so that, they revolutionize batteries as we know it. Tesla's new battery design is named the 4680 for its dimensions of 46 millimeters by 80 millimeters. This will reportedly provide 5 times the energy and 6 times the power of previous comparable cells and provide a 14% saving per kilowatt hour. Now, these numbers versus these numbers seems very confusing, but what Elon did was he demonstrated how if you take the building blocks and you do this, 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 and this combined, you get this. Okay, so we've got a 6 times improvement in power delivery. That is huge, 600%. That will mean that cars can accelerate faster, obviously contingent upon motor design and, the power design. Okay, so instead of your typical 150 kilowatt or 200 kilowatt motor found in most EVs, you could have an 800 or 1600 kilowatt motor. That is massive and, something you probably only really see in like large industrial type of machines or maybe in racing cars, yeah? The benefits of this new design will also mean that energy storage is 5 times that of comparable batteries. This is because they not only decreased the way in which the cell is arranged, but they also removed a tab which has handled the power flow. And they've also changed its battery chemistry from not just like one method, but 3, all designed for different applications. Yes, 3 different battery chemistries with variations on like the silicon, iron, nickel, and importantly, removing cobalt from its battery design. And that in turn will mean that we can have like different segments, like long cycle life, using its iron mix or maybe long range products. So that's for its cars and power walls. And they're going to utilize nickel and manganese. Or for what they're calling mass sensitive, that's going to be for the Cybertruck and Semi by adopting a battery that uses more nickel for its cathode. So what Tesla has been able to learn from this new factory and cell type is that a future Tesla battery plant will have like a 10 times reduction in its footprint and a 10 times reduction in its cost compared to the Giga Nevada. Plus, they'll be able to make a lot more batteries per day using their dry coat electrode method, which doesn't need to stop to add the tab, and should result in a 4 times speed improvement, and that is impressive. Finally, we get to cell vehicle integration, and this is about how they actually designed the new battery and how it's going to be packed into the cars and the chassis that goes with it. As we've already seen, Tesla has been a pioneer in car chassis manufacturing, making the rear portion of a Model Y in just one press. That means a 79 part reduction. So, looking ahead, by using this new massive press and compounds that make it possible, they're able to design the floor space of where these batteries are going to be stored, which will then form actually a structural component of the car. Elon compared this to like a plane's designs, which used to have like bladders for its fuel within the wing. And that evolved to just almost all of the wing being the fuel tank. By doing that, they've actually increased range by 14% through weight savings. So putting this all together through vertical integration, that's like a fancy term for saying how you can control a lot of aspects of your own business, they'll be able to increase EV range by 54%, reduce cell costs by 56%, and 69% less in terms of its total cost of building this sort of stuff. So, let me wrap it up. A few interesting comments that caught my attention is Elon saying that it's best to have a Giga or Terafactory on every continent. So, does that mean like a Giga Australia? Maybe? I was hoping to hear something about removing cobalt from all of the suppliers. And I was right about Tesla actually not having cobalt in their batteries, but it would have been good if they could have announced something to the effect of, we've agreed with our partners that our batteries that we buy will have no cobalt in them whatsoever. What's the other thing? I got most of my predictions right. So that was the new factory. Yep. New battery design. Yep. New battery chemistry. Yep. Incorporating learnings from Maxwell Technologies. More range. Well, I only said 15%, so I was right off on that one. And what else was there? There was unfortunately no announcement of a Powerwall 3, but that will happen in the next 3 years, I imagine, when they utilize these new battery cells. A very common thread through all of Elon's presentation was that Tesla will ramp up development and factory capacity over the next 18 months to 3 years. Now, this, I believe, was to avoid the Osborne effect, whereby customers would actually cancel or defer orders, knowing that, well, there's something better just around the corner. The event horizon of 18 months to 3 years is sensible and, well, counters this issue. Long term, they hope to provide a US $25,000 EV, which would cost in Australia about $46,000. So if that was to have 400 to 500 kilometers of range, I think you would have a lot of people jumping at it. Whilst the actual release date of this new cheaper EV was, not even really talked about, and I think Elon suggested it'll be at least 3 years away, he did say that the first product to benefit from all this new technology will be the Model S Plaid, available in late 2021, which in Australia will be, drumroll please, $237,970. Wow. No doubt there'll be some interest from some of my viewers out there, and well, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2 seconds flat. A range of 800 kilometers using the EPA method. That's Melbourne and Sydney, folks. Crikey. This Model S Plaid will demonstrate to the world that while EVs are now better, they're faster, and they can outcompete a conventional internal combustion engine car. And well, with that, it'll be time to say goodbye, cars, goodbye, ice cars. Yeah, see you later. So, what did you think? Did Battery Day live up to your expectations? For me, yes, absolutely. I think what they're doing here is amazing. The synergy of all those things coming together will revolutionize the battery industry. And it's a game changer for sure. Alrighty, well, that was it for today's episode. I really do hope you've enjoyed them. Big shout out to my patrons, and especially my producer levels, and that's Ashley Hill, Nigel Farrier, Ray Johnson, and Tessa Nagong for supporting me at that $15 per month price. You can jump on board there for as little as coffee per month, and do check it out over there. If you have any questions or comments, put it down below, and otherwise, you be good and you be great.